Somewhere under a wide desert sky, the night settles in as if it has all the time in the world. The air cools softly. The sand lets go of the day's warmth, one slow breath at a time. Moonlight rests on pale stones and quiet shrubs, turning everything a little silver, a little hushed, like the landscape has decided to whisper instead of speak. A light wind moves through the creosote and brittle grasses, not in a hurry, not trying to accomplish anything impressive. It simply drifts, and if you listen closely, it sounds like the desert practicing calm on your behalf. Even the cacti stand there like patient yoga instructors. No playlist, no stretching routine, just excellent posture and a long-term commitment to stillness. Welcome to Sleepy Nature Sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. If this place feels peaceful, you're always welcome back, like a familiar quiet campfire that never asks you to talk, only to rest. You can return whenever you like. No membership card required, just your presence, arriving gently as you are. And if you'd like to support the channel, thank you. It helps us keep the nightlights low and the nature facts cozy, softly delivered, like a blanket you don't have to fold. Tonight, we're drifting into the desert to meet a living landmark that holds more than water, more than shade, more than silence. We're coming to the Saguaro Cactus, tall, steady, and unbothered by the drama of weather. A cactus that seems to understand something simple. You can do a great deal for others without making a fuss about it. In the moonlit stillness, a saguaro stands like a quiet apartment building for the desert's smaller neighbors. Its ribs rise and fall in gentle curves, built to stretch and soften with the rare gifts of rain. Its skin holds the cool night air close, and around it, life continues in quiet routines, wings folding, paws padding, small hearts keeping time with the dark. The desert isn't empty, it's spacious, it's careful, and the saguaro, rooted deep, reaching upward, becomes a kind of calm anchor in that spaciousness. Not a hero, not a performer, just a patient presence, offering shelter, perch, nectar, and a place to pause. So let your mind slow down with it. Let your breathing find that same steady rhythm. Tonight, we'll follow the desert's gentle network of lives, softly connected, beginning beside the tall, quiet silhouette of the saguaro, under a sky full of unhurried stars. In the desert at night, questions arrive the way cool air arrives, quietly, without needing an announcement. The sky grows darker and softer at the same time, like velvet laid gently across the horizon. The land holds its shapes in calm stillness. Low shrubs, pale sand, a few scattered rocks that look as if they've been resting for centuries, because they have. If rocks had a hobby, it would be being unbothered. And then there is the saguaro cactus, tall, steady, and strangely comforting. It stands under moonlight with the calm confidence of something that has never once refreshed an inbox. Its arms, when it has them, curve upward in slow, patient gestures. Not dramatic, not demanding, just present. This is where tonight's question begins. Not a riddle, not a puzzle. Just something to let your thoughts drift around, the way wind drifts through open space. What does the desert provide when it provides so little? It's a gentle question, because the desert does not seem like a place that gives anything away easily. The days are bright, the rains are rare, the distances feel wide, and yet, life is here, not rushing, not crowded, just quietly continuing, as if the desert has its own slow agreement with existence. In that agreement, the saguaro plays a special role. It does not chase attention. It simply stands where it stands, holding water in its ribs with a kind of long-term patience. It grows slowly, like it enjoys taking its time, or like it read a self-help book titled, "Why Hurry When You're a Cactus?" and took it seriously. And around it, the desert's quiet community forms. Some animals come for shade in the day. Some come for nectar when flowers open like pale lanterns. Some come for a perch, or a safe place, or the simple comfort of being near something taller than their worries. Even at night, the saguaro seems to shape the space around it, making the air feel slightly more settled, slightly more organized, like a room where someone has tidied up without telling anyone. So the question lingers again. What does the desert provide when it provides so little? Perhaps it provides timing. Perhaps it provides space. Perhaps it provides the quiet kind of generosity. Small gifts offered slowly, with no expectation of applause. Let the question rest beside you now. You don't need to solve it. You can simply hold it lightly, the way you might hold a smooth stone in your palm. As we continue, we'll wander through the desert's soft networks of life, and we'll watch how a landscape that seems spare can still be richly supportive. One patient cactus, one quiet routine, one gentle night at a time. The desert at night feels like a room with the lights turned low on purpose. The heat of the day loosens its grip, and the air becomes cooler, softer, more breathable, like the land is exhaling. Moonlight spreads in thin layers across sand and stone, making every edge look a little smoother, a little kinder. Even the shadows behave politely, stretching out without making a fuss. If you listen, the soundscape is simple, but not empty. A quiet breeze slides through creosote bushes, brushing their leaves with a dry, papery hush. Somewhere, an insect keeps a steady rhythm, an unbothered little metronome for the night. Farther away, a gentle call drifts and fades, as if it's practicing being quiet on purpose. The desert never tries to impress you with noise, it just offers presence. This is a landscape shaped by patience. The ground is sandy in some places, rocky in others, and sometimes both at once, like the desert couldn't decide. So it chose all of the above. Rain arrives rarely, and when it does, it tends to visit briefly, like a polite guest who doesn't overstay. So life here becomes skilled at noticing small changes. A cooler night, a shadow's edge, a hint of moisture in the air. Saguaros belong to this rhythm. They rise slowly over decades, sometimes centuries, building their tall ribs like a careful storage system for water. Those ribs can expand when the cactus drinks, then settle back again. No drama, just quiet engineering. If the desert had a savings account, the saguaro would be the person who contributes regularly and never brags about it. And the science of survival here often looks like timing. Many desert creatures prefer the cooler hours, when the air feels gentler against fur, feathers, and skin. Nights can bring activity that feels less like busy and more like calm routine, a soft sequence of moving, pausing, listening, and resting again. Even plants follow timing. The saguaro's relationship with sunlight and water is a long, thoughtful conversation. It holds moisture carefully, and it manages its breathing in a way that suits the desert's dryness, opening itself to the air at calmer hours when the world is cooler and less drying. It's not rushing. It's not forcing anything. It's simply adapting with grace, like it has mastered the art of doing less, but doing it well. So as we settle into this landscape, let it feel spacious in your mind. Wide sky, open ground, slow air, a place where life doesn't need to shout to be real. And there, in the center of it, a saguaro stands, tall and quietly useful, ready to show us how a desert can be both sparse and deeply supportive, all at the same time. Under the moon, the saguaro stands with a kind of calm practicality. It doesn't shimmer. It doesn't sway much. It simply holds its shape, tall ribs, sturdy skin, a silhouette that looks like a gentle exclamation point in the desert. If the landscape were writing a sentence, the saguaro would be the part that says, yes, life is here, and it's doing fine. Up close, the cactus feels like thoughtful design. Those ribs are not decorative. They allow the saguaro to expand after rain, then slowly settle again as days pass. It's like a living water jar that also happens to be a landmark, and it does all of this without appearing stressed about it. The saguaro does not panic buy supplies. It simply stores what arrives and waits. In the desert, that quiet capacity changes the neighborhood. A tall plant becomes shade by default. It becomes a visual anchor, something that helps animals navigate open spaces without feeling exposed. It becomes a place to pause, a place to perch, a place to tuck into the nearby air and simply be. Sometimes, the desert feels like a wide room with very few chairs. The saguaro is one of those chairs. It doesn't ask questions. It doesn't judge your posture. It just offers a steady presence, and somehow that presence makes everything around it feel slightly more organized. There is gentle science here, but it moves slowly. A saguaro's roots spread outward near the surface to catch rainfall quickly, like a soft net laid across the ground. Then deeper roots help keep it steady. The cactus becomes a patient collector and a stable resident at the same time. In a place where water is rare, this kind of design matters, not loudly, not dramatically, but steadily. And because the saguaro is steady, other life arranges itself around it. Small creatures linger in its shade during the day. At night, the cooler air invites quieter movements. You might imagine a moth passing by, drawn to the idea of a flower that will open later. You might picture a bird resting high above the ground, letting the air feel calmer at that height. You might sense how the cactus creates a tiny climate around itself, slightly cooler, slightly more sheltered, slightly more livable. If you've ever felt that relief when you find a place to sit, you already understand the saguaro's gift. It's not flashy generosity. It's not dramatic rescue. It's simple support, offered in the language of stillness. And tonight, we begin to notice how an ecosystem can be built from small comforts. A shadow, a perch, a steady presence, and a cactus that seems to say, without speaking, You can rest here. In the desert, some of the most tender moments happen when the world is quiet. The saguaro saves one of its loveliest gestures for the night. It blooms. Not always, and not forever, but in season. Soft white flowers opening near the top, like small lamps set out carefully along the rim of the cactus. The flowers feel almost improbable in the dark, like the desert is casually revealing that it knows poetry. Their petals catch moonlight and hold it, turning brightness into something gentler. And the scent, subtle, sweet, airy, moves through the night as if it's looking for someone who understands it. These blooms are not loud invitations. They're more like a calm note left on a windowsill. If you pass by, you're welcome. And in the desert, that matters. Night blooming flowers match the cooler hours, when moisture stays in the air a little longer, and the heat of day has softened into memory. There is science in this timing, but it doesn't need to be rushed. Opening at night helps the flower share its nectar with visitors who prefer the dark, pollinators that float and flutter in cooler air. The saguaro and its visitors share a kind of mutual understanding. You come gently, you leave gently, and the desert continues. If you imagine the scene, it's almost cozy. The tall cactus stands like a patient host. The flower sits at the top like a small white bowl filled with sweetness. The night air carries scent like a slow message. And somewhere in that message, the desert says, life can be delicate and still be successful. It's also mildly amusing, in a very tender way, that the saguaro chooses to bloom where it's hardest for most of us to see. Imagine doing something beautiful and thinking, no need for applause. The saguaro is not here for compliments. It's here for continuity. Below the blooms, everything stays calm. A moth drifts through the air like a soft scrap of paper, lightly animated by the breeze. A beetle may wander nearby, not in a hurry, simply following the faint logic of scent and instinct. And somewhere overhead, a bat might pass by later, moving like a shadow with excellent navigation skills. No spotlight, no stage, just nightlife being nightlife. You don't need to memorize details. You can simply let the image settle in your mind. White petals and moonlight, a tall cactus holding its quiet posture, and the gentle idea that even in a landscape known for spareness, there are moments of generous bloom. Let your thoughts slow to that pace now, unfolding, opening, and then resting again. When the desert cools, a different kind of visitor glides through the air, lightly, almost silently. A bat moves with an ease that feels like it belongs to the night itself. Not dramatic, not hurried, just steady motion, guided by senses tuned to darkness. Some bats visit saguaro flowers for nectar. It's a quiet exchange. The flower offers sweetness, the bat receives it, and the cactus gains something subtle in return, the chance to share pollen between blooms. It's not a loud partnership. It's a soft one, like neighbors who help each other without turning it into a big announcement. If you picture it closely, it's almost gentle comedy. A bat approaches a flower with the focused seriousness of someone walking into a bakery at midnight. The flower sits there, open and patient, as if it has been waiting politely. The bat sips, and in doing so, brushes against the flower's pollen. The bat does not seem offended by this. It simply continues being a bat, competent, nocturnal, and slightly mysterious in the most calming way. The science here is simple and soothing. Pollination is a kind of connection. A plant and an animal share a moment, and that moment helps life continue. In a desert ecosystem, these connections matter because everything is spaced out. The distances can be wide, the opportunities can be brief, and yet, life finds its rhythm. The saguaro doesn't chase the bat doesn't demand the flower. They meet in the air's quiet middle, where the night is cool enough for soft work. This is not a story of struggle. It's a story of timing, a story of mutual usefulness that feels almost like kindness. As the bat moves on, the desert returns to its gentle hush. The cactus remains where it is, still and certain. The flower stays open for a while longer, holding its pale petals like a calm offering. Maybe another visitor arrives, maybe not. The saguaro does not seem anxious about outcomes. It has the patience of something that measures time and seasons and decades. And if you let that patience seep into your own breathing, it can feel like permission. You don't need to manage everything. You don't need to force progress. You can simply be here in the quiet, letting small connections form naturally, like the way breath connects inhale to exhale, again and again. Somewhere overhead, the bat becomes smaller against the sky, then disappears into the darkness. The cactus stands under moonlight, as if gently watching, though it doesn't really need to. The desert carries on with its calm routines, stitched together by these soft, nighttime encounters. And you can rest with that idea that life can be supported through quiet cooperation, and that the night can hold more tenderness than it first appears to. In the daylight, the saguaro looks like a sculpture. At night, it looks like a gentle guardian. But across seasons and years, it also becomes something surprisingly practical, a home. Some birds make nests in saguaros by using old woodpecker cavities, spaces carefully made and later reused. Over time, those openings can become cozy pockets in the cactus's tall body, offering shelter from sun, wind, and the wide-open exposure of the desert. It's a quiet form of community housing, and it happens without any paperwork. No waiting list, no rent, just a cactus holding steady, while life arranges itself inside the spaces it can provide. If the desert had a real estate agent, it would be a patient bird with excellent taste. When a bird settles into a cavity, the desert scene gains another soft rhythm, the idea of a safe place. The saguaro's thick outer skin and inner tissues help buffer temperature changes, making the inside of a cavity more stable than the open air. Not perfectly warm or perfectly cool, just less extreme. In the desert, less extreme is an underrated luxury. You can imagine it now. A small bird tucked into a sheltered pocket, feathers settling, body relaxing. The outside world stays wide and quiet, but inside that cavity, there is a feeling of contained calm, like being under a blanket that doesn't weigh you down. This is how saguaros support ecosystems without fanfare. They create structure in a landscape that can feel very open. They offer height for lookout points and song posts. They offer shade beneath their arms, and they offer hidden spaces where animals can rest, nest, and simply exist. Even if you don't see the birds at night, you can sense their presence, tiny lives folded into stillness. The cactus becomes a quiet building, the desert becomes a quiet neighborhood, and the night becomes a time when everything seems to settle into its assigned place comfortably. There's something gently funny about how a cactus, famous for looking a little stern, turns out to be a generous host. It doesn't look cuddly. It doesn't look like it enjoys visitors. And yet, it supports them anyway. It's like the friend who says, "I'm not hosting," and then accidentally provides snacks and a spare pillow. Let that image soften in your mind. A tall cactus under moonlight, holding small homes inside itself. While the desert air cools and quiets, if you need a metaphor for rest, it's right there. A steady structure in a spacious world, offering shelter without asking anything in return. And as we continue, we'll keep noticing these gentle supports, how ecosystems are built not through noise, but through simple, reliable places to pause. Even before the night arrives, the saguaro changes the desert by doing something wonderfully simple. It casts shade, not a dramatic forest shadow, not a sweeping canopy, just a patch of coolness that moves slowly with the sun, like a quiet clock made of light. In a desert, shade is not just comfort. It's a small environmental shift. Under a saguaro, the ground can hold moisture a little longer. The air can feel slightly softer. Temperatures can become less sharp. And in that gentler pocket, certain plants and animals find it easier to rest. This is how the desert builds cooperation without calling it cooperation. The saguaro stands tall, and beneath it, other life tucks in close. Small shrubs may grow in the cactus's partial shade. Tiny seedlings may find a better start there, protected from the full intensity of the day. It's sometimes called nurse plant behavior, one plant creating conditions that help others settle in. It's a quietly generous arrangement. The cactus doesn't move aside. The smaller plants don't complain about the limited view. They simply share space, each benefiting from the presence of the other. The desert is not a place for excess, so it becomes a place for subtle advantages. If you imagine the scene at dusk, it feels almost tender. A young plant near the cactus base, leaves still, the air cooling. The first stars appearing. The saguaro stands above like a steady older neighbor, reliable, unshowy, mildly intimidating at first glance, but ultimately helpful. And animals notice these calmer pockets too. A lizard may rest in the shade's edge earlier in the day, body easing into a cooler temperature. An insect may linger where the ground isn't quite as hot. Later, as evening arrives, the shaded area becomes part of a larger comfort map, places that feel less exposed, less harsh, more livable. If the desert is a wide room, shade is where the soft chairs are, and the saguaro, in its quiet way, provides them. There's also a sweet humor in how seriously we take shade once we notice it. One moment you're standing in the sun thinking you're fine, and the next you step into a patch of shadow and realize you have been, in fact, not fine. Shade has a way of making you honest. The desert understands this. The saguaro understands this. They offer relief without judgment. So let your mind rest in that small patch of calm. Imagine yourself beneath the saguaro's slow shadow, not to hide, but to soften, to cool, to settle, and to feel how tiny shifts in comfort can support a whole quiet community, one gentle degree at a time. As the sun sinks away, the desert changes its voice. The bright, dry intensity loosens into something softer, like a curtain drawn halfway. The air cools in slow degrees, not as a dramatic shift, but as a gentle settling, an evening ritual the land repeats with calm reliability. This nightly cooling is one of the desert's quiet rhythms, and it shapes everything that lives here. Some creatures feel more comfortable when the air turns mild. Some plants hold on to moisture a little longer when the heat has stepped back. Even the sand seems less sharp in its presence. Still sand, of course, but slightly more cooperative. The saguaro stands in the middle of this temperature change like a patient witness. Its body holds water, and water changes slowly. That simple fact gives the cactus a kind of steadying influence. While the open air cools, the saguaro's interior stays more even, like a calm reservoir of moderation. It doesn't make the desert warm or cold. It simply offers a softer swing, an environment that feels less extreme up close. You can imagine it as a quiet kind of comfort management. The saguaro is not a heater. It is not an air conditioner. It is more like a well-insulated home that keeps its calm, even when the weather changes outside. No thermostat adjustments. No dramatic complaints, just steady. For animals that rest near or within a saguaro, tucked into cavities, perched along arms, or settled beneath its shadow, this steadiness can feel like a small blessing. The night is still cool, still desert, still spacious. But the cactus creates a pocket of consistency, not perfection, just a little less swing, a little more ease. The desert wind drifts through again, quiet and dry, brushing against spines that barely move. Spines are not only protection, they also shape the air around the cactus, interrupting wind just enough to soften it. The saguaro becomes its own small weather system, subtle, steady, and quietly useful. There's something restful about noticing these small systems. They remind you that comfort is often made of tiny adjustments rather than big rescues. A patch of shade, a steadier temperature, a place where the air doesn't feel quite as sharp. If your thoughts have been running fast, let them borrow this desert pace. Let your breathing match the cooling air, slower, deeper, more settled. The night does not demand productivity. The saguaro does not demand attention. The desert simply repeats its gentle cycle. Warm day, cool evening, steady stars. And in that repeating, there is a kind of quiet reassurance, like a lullaby written in weather. Somewhere high on a saguaro's tall body, a small opening may rest like a dark window in a green wall. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't look like a grand entrance. But it can become a home, a carefully shaped pocket where a bird can rest, nest, and feel sheltered from the wide openness of the desert. Bird-made cavities in saguaros often begin with a gentle persistence, small, repeated efforts over time, not frantic, not rushed, just the quiet logic of, this spot seems good, followed by patient work. The result is a neat space inside the cactus, where temperatures feel more stable and the world feels a bit less exposed. What's especially soothing is what the saguaro does next. It doesn't panic about the opening. It doesn't react the way we might imagine. Instead, the cactus forms a protective lining around the cavity over time, often called a boot. It's like the saguaro calmly says, "All right, if we're doing this, we'll do it properly," and then gently reinforces the walls. It's a very desert kind of cooperation. Not sentimental, not showy, just quietly functional. The bird gains shelter. The cactus continues growing, adjusting around the new space with steady patience. The opening becomes part of the landscape's architecture, one more small room in the desert's large, quiet house. And there's something oddly comforting about how normal this becomes. In a place that feels minimal, life makes use of what's available. A tall cactus becomes a building, a cavity becomes a bedroom. The desert becomes a neighborhood with vertical housing options, an impressive concept considering nobody filed permits. If you imagine a bird settling inside that space, it's an image of pure practicality. Feathers fluff, eyes soften, the body warms the small pocket slightly. Outside, the desert stays quiet and open, but inside, there's the gentle feeling of enclosure, a safe little inside in a world that often feels like endless outside. It's also mildly funny, in a warm way, that saguaros, famous for being spiky and aloof, end up hosting so many tenants. They look like they would put up a sign saying, "No visitors," and yet they quietly provide rooms anyway. The desert's most intimidating landlord is also its most generous. So let your mind rest in that idea. Shelter doesn't always look soft. Sometimes shelter looks like a cactus, upright, armored, and remarkably supportive. A quiet doorway carved in patience, lined by time, held steady under moonlight. And as you breathe, you can borrow that same steadiness, settling into your own safe interior space, calm and unhurried. In the desert, a home can be many things. Sometimes it is a cavity in a saguaro. Sometimes it is a nest tucked into spiny arms. And sometimes it is a clever use of prickly real estate, built in a place that looks uncomfortable to us, but feels reassuringly secure to a bird that knows the desert well. The cactus wren is one of those birds that seems to understand the value of a well-chosen address. A nest placed among spines can be sheltered and quiet, a small woven structure that sits like a secret in plain sight. The spines create a kind of natural fence, an airy barrier that discourages clumsy intrusions. It's not aggressive. It's simply practical. At night, the desert becomes cooler and calmer, and the idea of that nest feels especially soothing. You can picture it, a rounded shape tucked into the cactus, fibers and grasses woven together with patient precision, a bird inside, settled and still. The outside air drifting softly past spines, the stars overhead like quiet witnesses. There's gentle science in this too. Nest placement matters because shade, wind, and temperature all shape comfort. A nest in a cactus can avoid some of the harshness of direct sun in the day and feel more stable at night. It's like choosing a spot in a room where the draft is minimal and the light is soft. The cactus wren isn't trying to be fancy. It's simply choosing comfort like a professional. And in a way, it's endearing how much desert life resembles the quiet choices we make too. Find a safe corner, build something simple, rest without apology. The cactus wren's entire vibe is cozy but outdoors, which is honestly a strong brand. If you listen closely in your imagination, You can almost hear the nest's quiet, soft feather shifts, a tiny settling movement, then stillness. No drama, no performance, just rest. The saguaro, meanwhile, continues being what it is, a tall, patient structure that makes these small comforts possible. It doesn't coordinate, it doesn't manage. It simply stands and offers its shape, and the desert community makes use of it with quiet gratitude. There's a peaceful lesson here that doesn't need to become a lesson. You don't have to turn it into advice. You can simply let it be an image. A bird asleep in a cactus nest, held gently by woven fibers and protected by spines, while the night cools and the world quiets. Let that image settle into your mind like a soft, weightless blanket. A safe place, chosen well. A small life, resting deeply. A desert that, in its own understated way, knows how to support comfort. And as you breathe, you can rest the same way, unhurried, protected, and quietly at home. A saguaro flower, open in the night, is like a small bowl of sweetness set out under the stars. It doesn't sparkle aggressively. It simply offers what it offers: nectar, scent, soft, pale petals, like a calm gesture of hospitality in a landscape that rarely overserves. And it isn't only bats that notice. Insects can arrive too, drawn by scent and the gentle promise of sugar. Their movements are small, almost delicate, tiny footsteps on petals, a brief pause, a quiet sip. In the dark, their presence feels less like activity and more like a soft, ongoing routine the desert repeats each season. If you imagine it closely, it's almost charmingly domestic. A flower opens. The air carries a faint perfume. A moth drifts in like a scrap of moonlit paper, lightly guided by the breeze. A beetle may wander with the steady confidence of someone who believes the world is, by default, a place to explore, slowly, 1 inch at a time. The science beneath this is gentle. Nectar is energy, and insects help move pollen as they visit. It's not a grand ceremony. It's more like a quiet exchange at a neighborhood table. The flower offers sweetness. The visitor leaves with pollen dusted lightly along its body. The cactus gains a better chance of producing fruit later on. Everyone remains politely calm about it. And honestly, the insects bring a bit of soft humor to the scene, simply by being so determined while also being so tiny. A moth can look like it's attending a formal event, arriving in its best wing-patterned outfit, taking a sip, and departing without speaking to anyone. Very efficient, very mysterious, very, I came for nectar, not conversation. The saguaro, of course, does not react. It holds its bloom open with patient stillness, as if it knows that this is how the desert stays connected, through small, repeated moments of shared use. In the background, the night remains quiet. The wind stays gentle. The stars keep their distance, and the whole scene feels like the desert demonstrating its preferred approach to community. No shouting, no rushing, no big announcements, just quiet participation. You don't need to follow every detail. Let it blur softly if your mind prefers. The important feeling is the calm continuity, life linking to life in small ways, through scent and sweetness and gentle timing. As you breathe, imagine your thoughts moving like those nectar visitors, light, unhurried, landing softly and leaving softly. Nothing to solve, nothing to chase. just a quiet drift through a world that knows how to keep going without raising its voice. After the saguaro blooms, and after those quiet visits in the night, something else can arrive later in the season. Fruit. Not loud, not flashy, just a soft, ripening outcome of many gentle connections. The fruit often appears near the top of the cactus, and when it opens, it can reveal bright pulp and seeds, like a small hidden treasure the desert doesn't advertise too aggressively. In the daytime, birds may visit the fruit. In the early hours, other animals may notice the sweetness. But tonight, we can hold the idea of it more generally. The saguaro offering nourishment in a landscape where nourishment is carefully earned and quietly shared. Fruit is a kind of continuation. It's the cactus saying, in its own slow language, here is energy. Here is another small way to support life. And the seeds, many of them, carry the possibility of future saguaros, though they will take their time, because saguaros do not hurry. They are not interested in being ahead of schedule. They're interested in being steady. When fruit falls or is carried away and bits are left behind, the desert floor receives it gently. The ground does not look like a place that accepts gifts, too dry, too rough, too open. And yet, it does. Bits of sweetness become nourishment for smaller lives. Insects can gather. Tiny decomposers can do their quiet work. The desert recycles with an understated competence, like someone tidying the kitchen without turning it into a big event. There is something deeply calming about that cycle. Bloom to fruit, fruit to seed, seed to possibility. And in between, quiet meals shared without fanfare. If you imagine the scene under moonlight, the saguaro remains tall and composed, while below, the desert holds its scattered life. Small movements, soft rustles, tiny footsteps. Nothing loud, nothing urgent, just a slow ecosystem doing what it does, passing energy along piece by piece, patiently. And there's a gentle humor in how the saguaro's offerings are both generous and very on brand. It gives sweetness. But from the top of a spiky tower, it's like offering dessert on a rooftop with no elevator. "You're welcome," says the cactus, "but please approach thoughtfully." Somehow, it still works. Life still finds its way. Let that be a comfort. Even when resources are limited, nature finds calm pathways for sharing, not through force, through timing, through steady patterns repeated across seasons. As your breathing slows, let your thoughts fall like ripe fruit, softly, naturally, without effort, settling onto the quiet ground of your mind, where everything can rest and be held. The desert is not a place that spreads things quickly. It prefers the slow method. But when the saguaro offers fruit, it also offers seeds. Many small possibilities tucked inside sweetness, like a future written in tiny punctuation marks. Some seeds travel after animals eat the fruit and wander on. Some settle nearby, falling gently to the ground. Others may drift a little with wind or rain, moving in small increments that feel more like relocating softly than going anywhere exciting. The desert doesn't do dramatic send-offs. It simply nudges life along, one quiet step at a time. A seed on the desert floor is a humble thing. It isn't glamorous. It doesn't make announcements. It just waits. And waiting is not a failure here. It is a skill. The ground can be dry, the sun bright, the nights cool, so a seed keeps its patience neatly folded, like a letter not yet opened. When conditions are right, when moisture arrives, when temperature feels suitable, some seeds begin to wake. The change is small at first, a swelling, a softening, a tiny root reaching down as if testing the world. Not rushing, not forcing, just beginning. If you imagine it, it's almost sweetly cautious. A seed says, "Is this a good time?" And the desert replies, "Sometimes." And that sometimes is enough. Many seedlings do best with a little help, and in the desert, help often comes in the form of shade. A small plant may start more successfully beneath a nurse plant, an older shrub or cactus that softens the sun and holds a slightly gentler microclimate. It's quiet cooperation again, the desert's preferred style, subtle, steady, practical. There's something comforting about how normal this is. Life doesn't begin with a grand leap. It begins with a tiny root, a small green hint, a cautious unfolding. If you've ever started something slowly, an idea, a habit, a new way of resting, this feels familiar. The desert is full of slow beginnings that still count. And in a gentle way, the humor is simply that saguaros take their time so thoroughly it feels like they're making a point. A saguaro seedling can be very small for a long while, like it's politely refusing to grow too fast because it doesn't want to seem over-enthusiastic. Yes, I'll become a giant cactus, it seems to say, but not immediately. Let's all relax. So tonight, let your mind rest with that image, seeds settling into sand, beginnings unfolding quietly, patience being treated as wisdom. You don't need rapid progress to be real. You only need a gentle start and the willingness to continue slowly. And as your breathing stays calm, imagine your thoughts drifting like seeds, softly landing, gently settling, finding a quiet place to begin and then to rest. A young saguaro rarely begins its life standing alone in full sunlight like a tiny hero. The desert doesn't really reward that style. Instead, seedlings often start under the shade of another plant, an older shrub or small tree that makes the air slightly softer and the ground slightly kinder. This is the nurse plant idea, and it's one of the desert's sweetest forms of quiet support. The nurse plant doesn't hold meetings. It doesn't offer motivational speeches. It simply exists, and in existing, it creates a better place for a small cactus to grow. Under a shrub, the sun feels less sharp. The soil may stay cooler. Moisture can linger a little longer after rain. The young saguaro sits in that pocket of calm and does what it does best, grows slowly, steadily, with no interest in performing. If you picture it in moonlight, it feels almost like a bedtime scene. A small cactus tucked beneath a larger plant's branches, safe in the shade's memory. The nurse plant above, quietly doing its job, part umbrella, part windbreak, part gentle buffer against extremes. The desert, in the background, staying wide and quiet. There's also a calm intelligence in this arrangement. The nurse plant benefits too. It can gain a little from the shade sharing, the soil stability, the subtle microclimate. And later, when the saguaro grows tall, it becomes a new source of shade and structure, continuing the cycle of support in the other direction. The desert is full of these slow trades. Help now, help later, no drama required. It's a little funny, in an affectionate way, that the desert's parenting style is essentially provide shade, then let the kid figure it out over several decades. And honestly, it works. Desert life tends to be competent at patience. The young saguaro remains small for a long time. It doesn't hurry to become tall. It takes seasons to build strength. It measures progress in quiet increments. That pace can feel like permission for you too. You don't need to rush your rest. You can take your time. You can let someone else's gentle presence, this story, this calm voice, this steady imagery be your shade for a while. So let your mind tuck in under that nurse plant's umbrella. Let your thoughts cool and soften. Imagine the desert air drifting, the leaves barely moving, the small cactus resting in a pocket of safety. And in that quiet, let your breathing deepen, steady, protected, and unhurried. When rain comes to the desert, it rarely arrives like a grand performance. It tends to show up more like a quiet visitor, brief, gentle, and slightly surprising. The clouds gather softly. The air changes its scent. And then, drops fall onto sand and stone, making small sounds that feel almost like tapping fingers on a drum that's been waiting. For the desert, this is not ordinary weather. It's an event, but not an exciting one, a soothing one. The ground drinks carefully. The plants respond in their own slow language, and the saguaro, built for exactly this moment, receives the water with calm efficiency. Its shallow roots spread outward near the surface, designed to catch rainfall quickly before it sinks too deep or evaporates. It's a clever system, but it doesn't look clever. It looks like patience in action. Water moves into the cactus, and the ribs can expand, storing that moisture for the long, dry stretch ahead. The saguaro doesn't celebrate. It doesn't worry. It simply absorbs, then returns to stillness. If you imagine rain and moonlight, it becomes even softer. The drops catch faint silver light as they fall. The air cools. The desert scent rises, earthy, clean, slightly sweet. Everything feels briefly gentler, like the landscape has been given permission to relax. And there's a mild humor in how the desert handles rain. Everyone acts calm, but you can almost sense the collective quiet excitement underneath. Plants perk up, insects appear. Tiny green hints may begin later on, but nobody overreacts. The desert does not throw a party. It just appreciates. For animals, the rain can change routines too. Some creatures may drink from small temporary pools. Others may simply enjoy the cooler air. The sound of drops can soften the night's silence without breaking it, like adding a few notes to a lullaby. And then, as quickly as it came, the rain may drift away. The clouds loosen, the stars return, the desert begins its slow drying again. But the saguaro keeps what it collected, holding it inside its steady body like stored comfort. There's something deeply restful about that. The idea that you can receive a small gift, cool air, quiet rain, a moment of ease, and let it last. You don't have to squeeze it or chase it. You can store it. You can carry it gently forward. So tonight, let your mind do the same. Let the story be your soft rainfall. Let the calm settle into you quietly. No urgency, no effort, just a gentle receiving, followed by rest. At first glance, a saguaro's spines look severe, sharp, firm, very much please admire from a respectful distance. But in the calm logic of the desert, spines are more than protection. They also shape the cactus's relationship with light, wind, and comfort. Spines cast tiny shadows on the cactus's skin. Hundreds, thousands of small lines of shade, shifting as the sun moves. These little shadows help reduce how much direct sunlight warms the cactus surface. It's not a dramatic difference, but in the desert, small differences matter. The saguaro doesn't rely on one huge solution. It relies on many small ones, quietly layered. Spines also interrupt the wind. They break up airflow around the cactus, creating slightly calmer pockets of air near the surface. That can reduce drying and keep the cactus a little more stable in its exchange with the environment. Again, subtle. Again, steady. And at night, those spines hold a kind of beauty. Under moonlight, they become fine lines, delicate and silvered, like the cactus is wearing a quiet halo of needles. Not glamorous, more like quietly well-dressed. There's a gentle comedy in how spines send such a clear message, while the cactus itself remains so generous. The saguaro provides shade, homes, nectar, and structure, yet it also maintains boundaries. It's like saying, I support the community, but I'm not a hugger. Fair enough, boundaries can be restful. The desert seems to know this. The saguaro holds its water inside, sets its spines outside, and stays calmly itself. That clarity, what is held within, what is kept at a respectful distance, creates a kind of stability. If you let that idea settle into your breathing, it can feel comforting. You can rest without taking in everything. You can hold your calm inside. You can let thoughts pass by without needing to invite them in for a full conversation. So imagine the saguaro under the stars, ribs rising, spines fine and quiet, air cooling around it. A strong presence with gentle limits. A plant that has learned over a very long time how to be both protective and supportive. And as you continue listening, you can borrow that same balance, softly protected, quietly supported, and free to drift towards sleep without the world pressing too close. In the desert night, height can feel like calm. From a higher perch, the air can be clearer, the view wider, the body slightly removed from the ground's shifting temperatures. And for some nocturnal birds, a saguaro offers exactly that, a steady place to rest above the open floor of the desert. An owl perched on a saguaro is an image of quiet competence, not in a tense way, more in a settled, I belong here way. Feathers lie smooth, eyes soften between slow blinks. The owl doesn't fidget much. It simply perches, letting the night be the night. The saguaro, meanwhile, remains its usual self, tall, stable, unbothered. It doesn't sway dramatically. It doesn't complain about the extra weight. It simply holds the perch the way a good branch holds a bird, firmly, quietly, without making the moment about itself. In the calm science of ecosystems, perches matter. A high place can be used for resting, scanning, listening, or simply being out of the way. And the saguaro provides these places in a landscape where tall structures are rare. In a sense, it adds vertical dimension to the desert's wide flatness. It gives the night more layers. If you imagine the scene, it's soothing in its stillness. A pale moon, a tall cactus, an owl resting like a soft shadow. The desert wind moves gently, but the owl remains steady, as if it has made a quiet agreement with the air. You may drift, and I will remain. And there's a mild humor in how owls always look like they know something, even when they're simply resting. They have that expression of calm seriousness, like they're contemplating the meaning of silence, when really they might just be thinking, "This perch is comfortable." The owl simply owls. This moment isn't about drama. It's about quiet placement. A bird in the right spot, a cactus offering structure, a landscape settling into its nighttime pattern. Let your mind perch there too. Imagine your thoughts finding a steady place to rest. You don't need to chase anything. You don't need to solve anything. You can simply sit in stillness the way the owl does, supported by something steady, surrounded by night air that doesn't demand more from you. And as the desert continues its gentle hush, you can let your breathing become the most important sound, slow, even, and quietly enough to carry you towards sleep. The desert floor at night feels cooler and calmer, like the land has lowered its voice. The sand, which can look bright and sharp in the day, becomes gentler under moonlight, pale, quiet, and almost velvety in the way it holds shadows. And across that soft surface, tiny footprints sometimes appear, small patterns pressed into sand, like brief signatures left by passing paws. Many desert animals prefer the night's cooler air. Their movements can be light and measured, walking, pausing, listening, then walking again. Nothing dramatic, more like a slow routine, as if they're simply checking in on the world. Yes, still desert. Yes, still quiet. Good. Near a saguaro, the night can feel slightly more structured. The cactus's tall presence becomes a landmark, and landmarks can bring comfort in open spaces. Around its base, the ground may hold a touch more shade memory and a slightly different texture, small changes, but noticeable to animals that live by subtle cues. You can imagine a small mammal, perhaps a kangaroo rat, moving with careful grace, stopping now and then, as if the air itself is part of its navigation. Its ears might turn toward faint sounds. Its body remains close to the ground. Then it continues, leaving those tiny prints behind, each one a soft note in the desert's quiet song. The science here is gentle. Nocturnal movement can conserve moisture and energy in dry climates, and cooler temperatures can feel kinder to small bodies. But you don't need to hold the facts tightly. Let them float lightly behind the image. Footprints, moonlit sand, a saguaro standing like a calm pillar nearby. And there's a soft humor in how serious small creatures can look while doing very normal things. A tiny animal can pause dramatically, as if considering an important life decision, when really it may just be thinking, is that a pebble? Or is that also a pebble? The desert offers many pebbles, and most of them are indeed pebbles. Still, these small movements matter. Each creature participates in the ecosystem simply by living, nibbling seeds, dispersing them, loosening soil, feeding predators in their own season, and returning nutrients back to the land. It's a quiet network, woven from routine, not from spectacle. So let your mind follow those footprints slowly, without needing a destination. Let the rhythm be simple. Step, pause, breathe, step again. The desert's pace is never frantic. It invites you to move like that too, softly, gently, with long pauses in between. And as the night continues, the footprints will eventually soften. Wind will drift across the sand and blur them. The desert doesn't cling. It lets marks fade naturally. Let your thoughts do the same, leaving impressions lightly, then smoothing out again as you settle towards sleep. In a place where water is rare, the desert becomes very skilled at subtle solutions. Some animals don't rely on finding water in pools or streams. Instead, they gather moisture through the foods they eat and the way their bodies manage it, like living little efficiency experts who never write reports about it. The kangaroo rat is one of these quiet masters. It can live in the desert with minimal direct drinking, gathering moisture from seeds and keeping that moisture carefully conserved. It's not flashy, it's simply effective, like someone who packs snacks for a long trip and then calmly never mentions it. At night, when the air cools, the kangaroo rat may emerge to forage. Its movements can be light and springy, leaving small prints that dot the sand in gentle sequences. It pauses, sniffs, selects seeds with calm intention, then carries them away, sometimes storing them for later. The desert favors this kind of planning. Slow, steady, practical. If you imagine it near a saguaro, the scene becomes even more comforting. The cactus stands as a stable landmark, and around it, the ground can hold scattered seeds and plant debris, small resources quietly present. The kangaroo rat doesn't hunt in a tense sense. It simply gathers. It lives by routine, not by drama. And there's a mild, affectionate humor in how kangaroo rats look like tiny athletes of the night, bouncy little leaps, big eyes, alert ears, while their lifestyle is basically collect snacks, go home, rest. A very relatable schedule, honestly. The science underneath is soft and simple. Desert animals often conserve water through efficient kidneys and behavior that reduces exposure to daytime heat. But again, you can let the facts be background music. The main melody is the image, a small creature moving under moonlight, doing quiet work, then returning to a burrow where the air is cooler and still. That burrow matters too. Underground spaces can hold steadier temperatures and higher humidity than the surface. The desert's comfort is often found below, in hidden rooms beneath sand. The kangaroo rat slips into that space and becomes still, tucked away as if the night itself has folded it gently into rest. Let that be a comfort for you as well. You don't need vast resources to feel safe. Sometimes safety is found in small efficiencies, a comfortable room, a steady rhythm, a quiet routine that doesn't demand explanation. As you breathe, imagine your own burrow of calm, an inner place where thoughts grow quieter, where the air feels steady, where you can tuck yourself into softness and let the night hold you without effort. Even though many lizards are more active in daylight, the desert's rhythm can still carry them into the evening's softness. They are creatures of temperature and timing, bodies tuned to the world's warmth, like instruments responding to subtle changes in air and stone. At night, the desert cools, and lizards often settle into rest. Some tuck into crevices, some nestle beneath rocks, some find sheltered places near plants where the ground holds a little warmth a bit longer. Their stillness becomes part of the night's quiet design. If you imagine a rock near a saguaro, it can feel like a small stage for calm. The stone holds heat from the day and releases it slowly into the cooler air, like a gentle hand warmer left out for the evening. A lizard resting nearby may feel that slow warmth and let its body relax into it. No rush, no drama, just the comfort of steady temperature. There's a gentle science here. Ectotherms, animals that rely on external heat, live by careful placement. They choose where to be based on warmth, shade, and shelter. It's a life of reading the landscape softly, like listening to a quiet conversation between sun, stone, and air. And honestly, it's mildly funny how much wisdom can be found in the simple act of choosing a good rock. A lizard doesn't overthink. It doesn't second guess. It simply finds the right spot and commits to it. The lizard's entire philosophy might be warm enough, safe enough, good. The saguaro, again, plays its role as structure. Its shade in the day shapes where heat accumulates and where it softens. Its presence breaks wind slightly. Its base creates little pockets of microclimate, small differences that matter in a world built on subtlety. As night deepens, everything settles into longer pauses. The lizard becomes still. The rock continues its slow cooling. The cactus stands, quiet and unchanged. The desert seems to hum with the softness of routine. The steady repetition of day warming and night cooling, season after season. Let your mind borrow that simple ease. You don't have to analyze your rest. You don't have to achieve sleep. You can simply place yourself in the right conditions. Calm breath, gentle imagery, soft attention. Then you let the night do what it does. Imagine your thoughts as sun-warmed stones. They release their heat slowly. Imagine your body as the resting lizard, quiet, settled, comfortable. And imagine the desert night as the steady rhythm holding it all, cooling, softening, and guiding you into deeper stillness. When you look at a desert landscape, it can seem spare at first. Few plants, wide spaces, lots of sand and rock. But under that calm simplicity, the desert is full of tiny exchanges. It's not a bustling buffet. It's more like a carefully set table where every dish is small and every crumb matters. The saguaro contributes to that table in several ways. Nectar for pollinators, fruit for birds and other animals, shade that helps seedlings and smaller plants, and structure that creates nesting spaces and perches. It doesn't provide everything. It provides something steady, reliably, season after season. Around it, other foods appear too. Seeds gather under plants. Insects find nourishment in tiny fragments of plant matter. Some animals nibble, some gather, some store. The desert's food web is not a loud drama. It is a quiet flow of energy, passed along gently, often in the dark, often in small portions. If you imagine a night scene near a saguaro, it feels peaceful. A few insects moving across sand, a small mammal pausing near a fallen seed, a bird roosting above, and the cactus standing like a silent host. The air stays cool, the wind stays soft. Nothing feels frantic. It's simply life continuing its calm routines. And there's a warm humor in how serious these small meals can seem. A tiny animal might approach a seed like it's evaluating fine cuisine. One nibble, a pause, another nibble, perhaps a thoughtful moment of chewing that suggests deep reflection, when really it's just chewing. The desert dinner table has many critics, and they're all very small. This quiet eating and gathering also shapes the land. Seeds get moved. Some get forgotten in hidden caches. Some sprout later, becoming new plants. In that way, meals become gardening. The desert recycles effort into future growth, with no need for anyone to announce. I am now participating in ecological restoration. If you let this idea sink in, it can feel comforting. The natural world sustains itself through small, gentle actions repeated over time, not through big gestures, through routine, through patience. And that same principle can apply to rest. You don't need a dramatic transformation tonight. You don't need to fix everything. You only need small, gentle repetitions. A slow inhale, a soft exhale, another slow inhale. Quiet nourishment for your nervous system, one breath at a time. So let the desert dinner table remain quietly set in your mind, simple, steady, calm, and let your body take what it needs from the night. Softness, stillness, and the unhurried permission to sleep. A saguaro does not become tall quickly. It doesn't level up each season like it's collecting achievements. It grows slowly, sometimes so slowly that to the impatient eye, it looks like it's doing nothing at all. But it is doing something. It is becoming. A young saguaro may spend many years as a small green presence close to the ground, quietly enduring heat and cold, holding whatever moisture it can, and continuing in tiny increments. This slow pace is not a flaw, it's the strategy. In the desert, stability matters more than speed. Over decades, a saguaro rises. It develops ribs that can expand with water. It builds height that becomes shade. Eventually, it may grow arms, sometimes after many years, like a long-delayed gesture of openness. And when it stands tall, it becomes a central figure in the desert's community, a home, a perch, a nectar source, a fruit-bearing provider, a landmark. The science behind that longevity is beautifully calm. A saguaro's tissues store water. Its skin reduces loss. Its timing matches the desert's cycles. It doesn't push against the environment. It works with it, slowly, patiently, with steady adjustments. And there's something gently funny about how saguaros embody the opposite of modern urgency. They do not multitask. They do not optimize for speed. They do not wake up and decide to reinvent themselves by Tuesday. A saguaro is the living proof that taking your time can be a wildly successful approach. If you imagine one under moonlight, tall, ribbed, quiet, you can almost feel its timeline. Decades of sunrises and sunsets, hundreds of nights cooling down, seasons repeating calmly. In its presence, your own worries can feel smaller, not because they don't matter, but because the cactus reminds you that time can be spacious. Tonight, let that spaciousness wrap around you. You don't need to resolve everything now. You don't need to sprint towards sleep. You can grow restful the way a saguaro grows tall, gradually, gently, without forcing. Let your thoughts slow down to dessert time. Let your breath become the steady measure of it, and let the image of the saguaro remain with you, quiet, reliable, supportive, standing in the night as a reminder that calm can be built, patiently, one small moment at a time. In the desert, memory does not always live in the mind. Sometimes it lives in the sand. A small set of paw prints crosses a pale stretch of ground, each mark pressed lightly into the surface, as if the night itself signed a quiet name. Near them, A thin line shows where a lizard's tail brushed. A curved pattern suggests a drifting leaf that made its own slow journey. None of these marks last forever, but for a little while, they remain, soft evidence that the desert is not empty, only quiet. The saguaro stands nearby, tall and steady, like a witness that never interrupts. It has watched countless tracks appear and fade, countless mornings arrive, countless evenings settle down again. In its long life, the desert has written many temporary stories at its feet. Wind arrives eventually, as wind does. It passes over the sand like a patient editor, smoothing and rearranging. Some tracks blur, some vanish. New ones appear later, as if the desert enjoys fresh drafts. It's a calm kind of impermanence. Nothing is taken away harshly. It simply softens, then becomes something else. There's gentle science beneath this, though it feels more like poetry than data. Sand is shaped by air, by moisture, by temperature shifts. The desert's surface is always in motion, just too slowly to notice moment by moment. Even the ground has its own unhurried rhythm. And in that rhythm, there is something comforting. The desert remembers, but it also lets go. It holds marks briefly, then releases them without argument. It doesn't cling to a footprint as proof. It doesn't demand permanence. It simply allows a trace, then returns to smoothness. If you've ever had thoughts that felt like they left deep impressions, worries, plans, old conversations replaying, you can borrow the desert's approach. A thought can pass through and leave a mark, and then, with time and gentle breath, that mark can soften. A small humor lives here too. If you look kindly, the desert accepts everyone's signature, even the messy ones. A wobbly trail, a scattered set of prints, a confused loop that says, "I had a plan, but then I changed my mind." The sand never judges. It just holds what happens. Tonight, let the idea of tracks be your lullaby. Your mind can leave marks lightly without carving them into stone. Your breathing can be the wind, steady, calm, smoothing the surface. And the saguaro can be your quiet witness, tall, patient, present, not demanding that you remember everything, not insisting you hold on, simply standing in the moonlit desert where stories appear softly and fade softly, and peace remains. Time in the desert rarely announces itself. It doesn't bang a drum. It simply accumulates, like fine dust settling in a corner you don't often notice, until you look closely and realize it has been there all along. A saguaro carries time in its body, not as a clock, but as a quiet record. Height gained slowly, ribs stretched and relaxed with rainfall, tissue built season by season. It does not grow in a hurry, which means its life becomes a kind of calm mathematics, small additions repeated faithfully. Trees are famous for rings, but saguaros have their own forms of record keeping. Their ribs expand when water is plentiful, then settle as the dry months return. Their surface shows the long practice of balancing intake and loss. Even their arms, when they arrive, feel like a timeline made visible. This is when enough seasons passed that I decided to branch out. It's a very patient way to be expressive, and the desert itself holds time too, in layers of soil, in the smooth faces of rocks, in the gentle rounding of edges by wind. The landscape doesn't rush to change, yet it never stops changing. It's the quiet kind of transformation that happens when nothing is trying to prove anything. There's something restful about that. We live in a world that often treats time like a deadline. The desert treats time like a companion. It walks alongside it. It lets it do its work. If you imagine the saguaro at night, it feels like a monument to slow is still progress. It has endured many summers and many cool nights. It has held rain like a careful keeper. It has offered shade, nectar, shelter, and steadiness, not because it tried to become useful, but because usefulness emerged naturally from its steady presence. A gentle humor lives here too. The saguaro is a living reminder that you can be extremely successful while moving at the speed of eventually. If the cactus had a motto, it might be, "I'll get there. Kindly stop checking the timeline." So tonight, let your mind relax its grip on time. You don't need to measure yourself against anything. You don't need to rush the night into being productive. Your only task is to rest. Let the desert's timeline settle into you. Slow changes, steady additions, patient cycles. Inhale, exhale, another inhale, another exhale. That's time too, gentle mathematics, repeating quietly, building calm in small increments. And as you drift, imagine the saguaro standing under the stars, keeping time without counting, simply being present in a world that changes softly and steadily, one quiet season at a time. When people hear the word intelligence, they often imagine a brain thinking hard or a clever plan scribbled on paper. But the desert suggests another kind, one that doesn't look like a thought. It looks like balance. In a desert ecosystem, nothing is wasteful for long. Water arrives rarely, so it is met with careful systems. Roots spread out to catch it, bodies store it, behaviors shift to cooler hours. Life here doesn't fight the environment. It learns its rhythms and moves with them, like a slow dance where each step matters. The saguaro is part of that quiet intelligence. It grows ribs that expand and contract, holding water like a patient reservoir. It opens its exchange with the air at calmer hours, conserving moisture in a way that feels almost like good manners. It offers nectar when pollinators are most likely to visit. It provides shelter where shelter is valuable. Without speaking, it supports the network, and the network responds. Animals take nectar and carry pollen. Birds nest and later move on, leaving cavities for others. Seed eaters disperse seeds and occasionally forget a few, which is the desert's version of accidental gardening. Even decomposers, small, unseen workers, break down fallen matter and return it to the soil. The desert's intelligence is distributed. No single leader, no big speech, just many small roles done steadily. If you sit with this idea, it becomes deeply calming. The ecosystem doesn't require anyone to control everything. It functions through relationships, timing, and feedback. When conditions shift, routines shift gently. The desert does not panic. It adjusts. There's a soft humor in that too, because humans love complicated plans, and the desert's plan is often, be patient, do less, time it well. It's like the ecosystem read a minimalist guidebook and took it seriously. This kind of intelligence feels relevant to rest. Your body has its own quiet systems: breath, heartbeat, temperature, the gentle balancing act of calm returning after a busy day. You don't have to command those systems with force. You can simply create the conditions for them. Dim light, soft attention, slower breathing. Then your inner ecosystem does what it already knows how to do. So tonight, imagine your mind as a desert network, wide, spacious, quietly coordinated. Thoughts can drift like wind. Feelings can settle like sand. Breath can move like cool night air, steady and reliable. And in the center, imagine the saguaro, calm infrastructure, quiet support, reminding you that intelligence doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it looks like balance. Sometimes it feels like patience. Sometimes it sounds like nothing at all, except your own breathing, gently returning you to rest. Adaptation in nature is often described in scientific terms, structures, behaviors, timing. But in the desert, adaptation also feels like poetry, because it is shaped by necessity and expressed with quiet elegance. A saguaro does not adapt by becoming something else. It adapts by becoming more fully itself. It grows ribs that store water, spines that cast tiny shadows, roots that spread wide to catch brief rain. It holds its life carefully, not with fear, but with a steady respect for the environment it lives in. And around it, other desert lives adapt with their own gentle signatures. Some animals rest through the heat and move in cooler hours, as if the night is their preferred room in the house. Some plants hold on to moisture and bloom at times that match their pollinators. Some creatures rely on scent, vibration, or low-light vision, quiet senses tuned to subtle information. None of this is loud. It doesn't look like a battle. It looks like fit, like belonging, like a long-term relationship with place. If you listen for it, you can almost hear the poetry, the way a bat finds a flower in the dark, the way a bird chooses a cactus cavity for a nest, the way a seed waits until conditions feel kind. The desert writes its verses slowly, and it never hurries to finish a stanza. There's also a tender humor in how adaptation often resembles common sense. We call it specialized survival, but sometimes it's simply avoid the hottest part of the day, which is a strategy many humans also prefer if given the option. The desert is full of creatures quietly saying, "No thank you," to unnecessary discomfort. A very wise community. And there is a gentle lesson here that doesn't need to become a lesson. You can adapt without forcing yourself into shapes that don't fit. You can honor your own rhythms. You can move toward rest the way desert life moves toward night, naturally, gradually, when the conditions feel right. So tonight, let your thoughts adapt. Let them become quieter. Let your attention shift from planning to sensing. The feel of your breath, the softness of the room, the steady return of calm. You are not required to perform wakefulness. You are allowed to be like the desert at night, spacious, low-lit, unhurried. Imagine the saguaro standing under stars, perfectly adapted not by striving, but by steady patience, and let that patience spread into you, softening your shoulders, easing your jaw, loosening the grip of the day. Adaptation can be gentle. It can be quiet. It can be as simple as letting yourself rest, exactly as you are. If you stood in the desert and tried to identify the teamwork, you might miss it at first. There are no group huddles, no planning sessions, no shared calendars. And yet, cooperation is everywhere, woven into the ecosystem like a soft net. The saguaro cooperates by existing in a way that supports others. It offers nectar to pollinators. It provides fruit that feeds birds and small animals. It becomes a nesting structure, a perch, a pocket of shade, a landmark. It doesn't choose favorites. It simply provides, and in providing, it shapes a calmer environment for life around it. Pollinators cooperate in return. A bat visits a flower and carries pollen to another bloom, not out of devotion, but because it enjoys nectar and the night is comfortable. A moth drifts from flower to flower, lightly dusted with pollen, like it accidentally joined a community project and did a great job without noticing. Birds eat fruit and disperse seeds. Some seeds land in good places, some don't. The desert doesn't scold. It simply continues. Even the nurse plants, shrubs that shelter young saguaros, participate in this quiet cooperation. They soften the sun and create a gentler starting place. Later, as the saguaro grows tall, it returns the favor by offering shade and structure, becoming a new support in the landscape. Help becomes circular, passed along with patience. There's a calming truth here. Cooperation doesn't have to feel like effort. It can be natural alignment, each life doing what it does, and the network benefiting because roles fit together. And the soft humor is that this might be the most effective community on Earth, and nobody has ever held a meeting about it. The desert runs on quiet competence and unspoken agreements. If only email threads could learn. Tonight, let that idea soothe you. You are part of your own network too. Body, breath, nervous system, rest. When you slow down, your systems cooperate. Heartbeat steadies, muscles soften, thoughts become less sticky. Sleep becomes more available, not because you forced it, but because you created the conditions for cooperation inside yourself. So breathe like the desert ecosystem breathes, spaciously, gently, in slow, steady cycles. Let your mind be the saguaro, supportive, steady, not demanding. Let your thoughts be the night visitors, arriving softly and leaving softly. No meeting required, no agenda, just quiet cooperation, carrying you naturally toward rest. The desert does not change with fanfare. It changes the way twilight changes, gradually, almost privately. One week, the evenings feel a little warmer. Another week, the air cools earlier. The light shifts its angle. The shadows lengthen in slightly different places. And if you're not paying attention, it all happens quietly, as if the season prefers not to interrupt. Saguaros live inside that slow return. They respond to the year's rhythm without appearing to react at all. Their work is subtle. Holding water, managing moisture, waiting for the right time to bloom, and continuing to be steady when everything else feels variable. There is a calm comfort in seasonal repetition. The desert is not chaotic. It is cyclical. Heat comes, then softens. Rains arrive when they arrive, then drift away again. Nights cool down, mornings brighten. The pattern returns, not identical, but familiar, like a song you recognize even when the tempo changes slightly. Animals follow these slow cues too. Some adjust their activity by temperature alone, moving more in cooler hours, resting more when warmth lingers. Some respond to the timing of flowers and fruit. Some follow the availability of shelter and shade. It is all very quiet, very practical, very unhurried. And perhaps the most soothing part is that no one appears stressed about the schedule. The desert does not sit around worrying, is it time for spring yet? It simply becomes spring when it becomes spring. The ecosystem has a deep confidence in returning patterns. There's a soft humor in this desert attitude toward time. It is wonderfully unconcerned with milestones. No one is counting days. No one is publishing updates. If a cactus could speak, it might say, "We are doing seasons again. Please remain calm." And then it would go right back to standing there. Tonight, let your mind borrow that seasonal trust. If you've been holding on to the day's noise, imagine it loosening the way heat loosens as evening arrives. If you've been waiting for a feeling to change, let it change slowly, without pressure. Not all transitions need effort. Some happen simply because you allow time to do what time does. Think of your breathing like a season too, repeating, returning, steady. Inhale arrives, exhale returns, another inhale, another exhale. Your body already knows how to cycle. It has done this all day. It will keep doing it through the night, calmly, without needing your supervision. So rest in that repetition. Let the desert's slow return become your lullaby. Familiar patterns, quiet shifts, steady rhythms. Nothing to chase, nothing to force. Just the gentle certainty that calm returns again and again, the way night returns to the desert sky. In the desert, life cycles do not feel like dramatic chapters. They feel like long, gentle sentences written slowly across years. A saguaro begins as a seed so small it could disappear between grains of sand. Then, with time and a little help from shade, it becomes a seedling. Later still, it rises into a tall cactus that offers shade, nectar, shelter, and fruit. The cycle continues, not as a rush, but as a patient unfolding. A bloom becomes fruit, fruit becomes seeds, seeds become beginnings. And even when a saguaro's life ends, it continues to support the desert in other forms. Its body returns to soil, feeding the quiet workers of decomposition. Nutrients re-enter the ground. Small creatures find shelter in fallen structures. The desert recycles with calm competence. This is not presented as tragedy. It is presented as continuation. In nature, endings are not alarms. They are transitions, soft handoffs from one form to another. If you imagine it at night, everything feels especially gentle. A saguaro stands under stars, carrying the history of many seasons in its ribs. Somewhere nearby, a small seed rests in sand. Somewhere else, a bird sleeps in a cactus cavity. The cycle is happening everywhere at once, quietly, without needing an audience. There's a tender humor in how long-lived saguaros make the idea of life stages feel almost comically patient. A human might think, I should have everything figured out by now, while a saguaro is still politely working on becoming tall. It's a reminder that growth can take time, and that taking time is not a problem. It's the method. Tonight, let your own life cycle for the day complete itself. Wakefulness has had its turn. Thoughts have moved. Tasks have happened. Conversations have come and gone. Now it is time for the slow closing chapter, the gentle descent toward rest. Sleep is part of your cycle, the way night is part of the desert's. It is not an interruption. It is maintenance. It is restoration. It is the quiet part of the story where the body rebuilds, the mind organizes, and the nervous system softens its grip. So let your breathing become the cycle you can feel most clearly. Inhale, then exhale. Rise, then settle. Begin, then release. The desert teaches that continuation does not need force. It needs time, patience, and the willingness to let each phase be what it is. And tonight, your phase is rest, softly continued, breath by breath, into deeper and deeper calm. Slowness in the desert is not a lack of energy. It is a kind of wisdom. When conditions are intense, bright sun, dry air, wide distances, moving slowly can be the most intelligent choice. The desert seems to understand this deeply, and it expresses it everywhere. In the way plants grow, in the way animals time their activity, in the way the whole landscape changes almost invisibly. The saguaro is the desert's quiet ambassador of slowness. It grows over decades. It stores water carefully. It blooms when timing is right, not when it would look most impressive. It offers support to the ecosystem simply by being present, year after year, without rushing to become anything else. And around it, the desert continues its slow education. A nurse plant shelters a seedling for years. A bat visits a flower for a brief moment, then disappears into night. A bird builds a nest patiently, then rests. Sand shifts grain by grain. Wind smooths tracks without urgency. Everything continues, but nothing feels frantic. There's a calm comfort in realizing that the desert does not equate speed with success. It measures success in persistence, in fit, in steady cycles repeated over time. And in that sense, the desert is strangely encouraging. It says quietly, "You don't have to hurry to belong here." It's also gently funny how much the desert would frustrate a modern productivity coach. The saguaro would not respond well to motivational slogans. "Crush your goals" does not land with a cactus. The saguaro's preferred slogan might be, "Stand here, absorb rain, repeat." And somehow, it works. Tonight, let that philosophy soften you. If your mind has been racing, give it permission to slow down without guilt. Slowness is not failure. Slowness is settling. It is the body finding safety. It is the nervous system remembering that the night does not require performance. Let your breathing be your simple ritual. No achievement needed. Inhale gently. Exhale gently. Each breath is a small return to stillness. Like the desert cooling each night, you are allowed to ease into rest in your own time. Imagine the saguaro under the stars, tall and patient, holding its long life with quiet confidence. Let it remind you that steady is strong, quiet is enough, slow is still moving. And as you drift, let the desert's lesson become your lullaby. The most restful pace is often the one that asks the least of you while giving you the most back. Now, as the desert grows quieter, we return to the question from earlier. Gently, like a remembered scent carried on cool air. What does the desert provide when it provides so little? The night doesn't answer with words. It answers with atmosphere, with the steady shape of a saguaro against the stars, with the soft hush of wind moving through shrubs, with the quiet sense that even in spareness there can be support, subtle, reliable, unshowy. The desert provides timing. It provides cooler hours. It provides the wisdom of moving when it is gentle and resting when it is harsh. It provides shade in small patches and stability in hidden places. burrows, cavities, the still air beneath a plant's canopy. And the saguaro helps the desert provide something else: structure. A tall cactus becomes a landmark and a refuge. It holds nectar like a soft offering. It holds fruit like a slow gift. It holds nests and perches and small rooms inside its sturdy body. It provides comfort that doesn't look soft, but still feels safe. Maybe that is the quiet answer. The desert provides not abundance, but enough. Enough shade, enough shelter, enough sweetness, timed well. Enough connection between lives that depend on one another without making a spectacle of it. And you don't have to hold this answer tightly. You can let it be a gentle thought that drifts through you and then settles, like sand smoothing under wind, like a footprint fading, like the day's noise dissolving into the night's calm. As we move towards sleep now, let your mind do what the desert does so well: simplify. Let the extra thoughts loosen and fall away. Let what remains be soft and steady, breath, stillness, and the quiet comfort of a landscape that continues without urgency. Imagine the saguaro once more, standing patiently under moonlight, not demanding anything from you, just being there, as a reminder that spareness can still be supportive, and that you too can rest with less effort than you think. Drift with that. Settle with that. Let the question become quieter now, and let the night hold you as you move into deeper stillness. The desert night continues to settle, and with it, everything grows quieter in small, almost invisible ways. The breeze that moved earlier begins to ease, as if it has remembered there is no need to keep walking. It slows down, softens its touch, and becomes more like a gentle presence than emotion. Moonlight remains, calm and steady, resting on the sand the way a blanket rests, without weight, without effort. The saguaro stands in that light like a quiet pillar, ribs and spines outlined in silver. It does not demand attention. It simply holds its place in the landscape, offering structure the way a calm thought offers steadiness. Around it, the desert's routines become smaller. Nocturnal footsteps may still pass somewhere out of view, but even that feels muted, like life is moving with indoor voices. A distant insect rhythm continues, steady, patient, unhurried. The sound is not loud enough to pull you awake. It's more like a soft thread, stitching the night together. And if you return again, gently, to the question, it feels less like a question now, and more like a quiet understanding. What does the desert provide when it provides so little? It provides calm patterns. It provides a pace that does not ask you to perform. It provides spaces where the mind can stop gripping. The desert does not offer clutter. It offers openness. It does not offer constant stimulation. It offers room. The saguaro becomes part of that room, a tall, steady shape that says, you can rest beside something reliable. A living landmark that holds its water quietly, holds its boundaries quietly, holds its support quietly. It is generous without being loud about it, and firm without being harsh. A rare combination, very restful to be near, even in imagination. There is a soft humor in how the desert teaches this lesson without any speeches. The saguaro doesn't give motivational quotes. It doesn't coach you through your feelings. It just stands there like an expert in calm. If it had an opinion, It might simply be, breathe. That's enough. And honestly, that's a solid opinion. So let your breathing become the night's main rhythm. Inhale slowly, like cool air moving into open space. Exhale slowly, like warmth leaving the sand in gentle increments. Let the muscles in your face soften. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your thoughts become less specific, less sharp, more like shapes in low light. The wind continues easing. The world continues softening. And the desert, vast and quiet, holds you without asking anything in return. Stay with that. Drift with that. Settle deeper into the calm the night is already providing. As the night grows deeper, conclusions in the desert arrive quietly, not like announcements, more like small realizations that simply appear and then rest, the way a drop of water rests on a leaf before it disappears. The desert provides what it can, and the saguaro shows how that what it can becomes enough. Not abundance, just steadiness. A place to perch. A pocket of shade. A flower that opens at the gentlest hour. A fruit that nourishes and then becomes seeds. A cavity that becomes a nest. A nurse plant that offers a calmer start. Small comforts repeated across seasons until the whole ecosystem feels supported. If you think again of the question, what does the desert provide when it provides so little? The answer seems to sit softly in the air. It provides timing and patience. It provides the quiet wisdom of waiting for the right conditions. It provides a rhythm that encourages rest rather than strain. It provides a kind of calm organization in a wide open space, landmarks, shelter, routines, the gentle architecture of living things that stay. And in that, the desert also provides a lesson that does not need to be moralized. You do not have to do everything at once. You do not have to be overflowing to be valuable. You can be steady. You can be simple. You can be enough. The saguaro embodies this without effort. It is not loud. It is not busy. It does not chase outcomes. It holds water, holds time, holds space for others. It supports life by staying present. And presence, when it is steady, becomes a gift. There's even a little humor tucked into this conclusion. The saguaro is an ecosystem keystone while looking like it would prefer to be left alone. It's like the desert's quiet introvert who accidentally becomes everyone's favorite neighbor. I'm not hosting, it seems to say, while offering rooms, snacks, shade, and nectar. Let that make you smile gently if your mind is awake enough for it. Then let the smile soften into stillness. Now, allow the facts to thin out. Let the imagery take over. Imagine the cactus under moonlight, the air cool, the sand pale, the wind minimal. The desert's quiet routines continuing without effort. And let your breathing become the only conclusion you need tonight. Slow inhale, slow exhale, like a small sip of calm, taken again and again until sleep arrives naturally. Now we drift, not toward a goal, not toward an ending, just towards stillness. The desert has a way of making stillness feel natural. At night, the open land becomes even more spacious, like the world has gently stepped back to give you room. The stars remain steady overhead. The saguaro remains steady below. And between them, the air rests in long, quiet layers. If there were any remaining tension in the day, imagine it loosening the way heat loosens from sand after sunset, slowly, patiently, without argument. The body does not need to hold the day's tightness anymore. It can begin to soften the way desert life softens into night. Picture the saguaro again, tall, ribbed, calm, not dramatic, not demanding. It stands as it always stands, a quiet structure in a wide world. Its spines glint faintly. Its arms, if present, curve upward like slow, relaxed gestures. Everything about it says, steady, steady, steady. Let your breath match that steadiness. Inhale, slow and cool. Exhale, slow and warm. Let the space between breaths feel comfortable too, like a pause in a song that isn't in a hurry to continue. Around the cactus, life quiets. The smallest movements become less noticeable. The wind becomes almost nothing. The desert's soundscape simplifies until it feels like a soft hush held gently in the background. And your thoughts can simplify too. They don't need to be sharp or detailed now. They can become vague shapes, like distant silhouettes in moonlight. If a thought arrives, it can pass through. If a memory flickers, it can fade. The desert does not cling to footprints. It lets them soften. You can do the same. If you like, imagine your mind as sand after wind, smoothed, quiet, even. Not empty, just calm. A surface ready to rest. We have come down from the exploration now. We have returned from the gentle wonder. We are here, in the descent, in the loosening, in the quieting. And from here, there is nothing you need to do. Only drift, only settle, only breathe. Slowly enough that sleep begins to feel less like something you chase, and more like something that simply arrives, the way night arrives in the desert. Gradually, softly, and without requiring any effort from you. The desert night holds its shape the way a calm room holds silence, steady, supportive, and wide enough for all your thoughts to grow quiet inside it. The stars remain, the sand remains, the saguaro remains, tall and unbothered, as if the concept of overthinking never reached this part of the world. Now we enter the final rest, where the story becomes more like a slow breath than a sequence of ideas. Facts thin out, images soften, everything becomes simple. Imagine the air around the cactus, cooler, still, a faint scent of earth and dry leaves. The cactus stands as a calm outline against the sky, like a gentle monument to patience. Its ribs rise and fall with stored water, not in motion, but in form, as if it carries the memory of rain inside its body. Somewhere in the desert, a small creature rests in a burrow. Somewhere, a bird sleeps in a cactus cavity. Somewhere, an insect continues its steady rhythm, a tiny metronome that never tries to be important. The desert doesn't ask them to do more than rest when it is time to rest. Let that permission reach you. Your breathing can slow even further. Inhale and exhale, each breath smoothing the surface of the mind, like wind smoothing sand. Thoughts can pass through without leaving deep marks. Plans can loosen and drift away. The body can become heavier in the most comfortable way, settling, sinking, letting go. If you need a gentle smile, there's one more quiet amusement to borrow. The saguaro has been practicing stillness for a very long time. It is, in a sense, a professional, and it offers you that same steady example. Nothing to prove, nowhere to go, no need to rush. Now the night holds its shape, and you can rest inside it. Just breathe, just settle, just drift. Now everything becomes even quieter, as if the desert has turned the volume down one last notch. The space feels wider, the air feels softer, the world feels less interested in details. Let your breath be the only movement you follow. Inhale, like a cool desert breeze slipping gently across sand. Exhale, like warmth leaving the ground in slow, patient layers. Nothing else needs your attention. The mind can stop managing, the body can stop bracing, the day can stop replaying. In your imagination, the saguaro stands nearby, tall and calm. The cactus does not check the sky for updates. It does not wonder if it is doing this correctly. It simply stands, supported by the earth, held by its roots, steady in the night. You can borrow that steadiness now. If a thought appears, let it arrive the way a small gust arrives, briefly, softly, then let it pass. You do not need to follow it. You do not need to negotiate with it. You can let it drift off into the open desert air, where it becomes smaller and quieter. Inhale, exhale. Your shoulders can loosen a little more. The muscles around your eyes can soften. The jaw can unclench. The tongue can rest gently, as if it has also decided it does not need to work so hard. The desert is good at this kind of letting go. It does not cling to footprints. It does not keep tight hold of the day's heat. It releases naturally, without argument. And there is one last small, sleepy amusement in that. Even the sand seems relaxed, and sand has a reputation for being annoying. Yet here it is, calmly lying still, behaving beautifully under moonlight. If sand can do it, you certainly can. So breathe like desert wind, quiet, steady, unhurried. Inhale, exhale. Let the story thin into sensation. Cool air, soft darkness, a steady silhouette, and the simple comfort of being held by night. No effort, only rest. Above the desert, the sky stretches out like a soft, dark ocean. The stars appear steady, not flickering with urgency, only resting in their places. The moonlight remains gentle, painting the edges of stone and cactus with pale silver. If your mind wants to wander, let it wander upward. Let it drift across that wide, quiet sky where there is nothing to solve, no messages to answer, no tasks to finish, just space. The saguaro stands beneath that sky like a calm sentinel, and the scene feels complete in its simplicity. Earth below, stars above, quiet in between. In the distance, the desert continues its soft routines, small lives resting in burrows, birds tucked into sheltered spaces, insects keeping faint rhythms that never demand attention. Everything feels like it is in the right place, doing the right amount of nothing, and you can be the same. Your breath can remain slow. Your body can remain settled. Your thoughts can remain light. If an idea rises, you can let it float, then fade, like a cloud that never becomes a storm. The desert night is not interested in storms. It prefers calm. Even time feels different here, slower, roomier, less sharp. Minutes do not feel like pressure. They feel like gentle space between breaths. Inhale, exhale. Let your attention rest on something simple, the feeling of stillness, the image of the cactus, the wide, quiet sky. Let the world remain soft and unchanging for a while. There is no expectation now, no need to hold the story tightly. It can become background, like moonlight itself, present, calm, and not demanding. And as you continue breathing, sleep can arrive the way night arrives in the desert, gradually, naturally, and without needing to be invited twice. Now the desert feels as if it has fully settled into itself. The air is cool, the wind is minimal. The land holds its quiet shape without shifting. Even your thoughts can begin to settle this way, lowering, softening, becoming less defined. Imagine the sand smoothing out. Imagine footprints fading. Imagine the day's noise dissolving into a soft hush. You do not need to stay alert. You do not need to keep watch. The night is steady. The desert is steady. The saguaro is steady. And you are allowed to be steady too, still, supported, resting. Inhale. Exhale. If there is any tension left, imagine it draining away like warmth leaving the ground, slowly, naturally, with no effort. The body knows how to do this when you stop interrupting it with worry. Let your breathing be simple. Let your mind be spacious. Let your body be heavy in the most comfortable way. Even the stones seem relaxed. They've had practice. And now you can rest as deeply as the landscape rests. Quiet, grounded, unhurried, safe. The story becomes almost nothing now, only a soft atmosphere, like moonlight resting on sand. The desert holds its quiet rhythms. The saguaro stands in patient stillness. The sky remains wide and gentle overhead. Your breathing continues, slow and steady, without needing attention. Inhale. Exhale. Everything that needed doing today can stay where it is. Nothing follows you into sleep unless you carry it. And you do not need to carry anything now. Let the last images be simple. A tall cactus under stars, a cool breeze barely moving, a quiet world that asks nothing from you. And as you drift, allow the closing words to settle like a final soft blanket. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion.